I show up as an ally by serving as a confidant. There's a difference between having representation and making an individual feel seen. It's really about driving change.
Come on, let's clap it up. Now join me in welcoming our host for our next Conversations That Count, the Vice President of Sales for Dell Technologies, Tonya Quarles.
Thank you, Sydney, and good morning to everyone. On behalf of Dell Technologies and our 2024 Women of Power cohort, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this morning's Conversation That Counts session. At Dell, our top priority is creating an inclusive culture, an environment where everyone can be their authentic selves and do their best work. We understand the importance of attracting and retaining diverse workforce that reflects the customers and communities we serve. Our commitment to the progress is represented with our representation goals. By 2030, 50% of our global workforce and 40% of our global people leaders will be those who identify as women. Also by 2030, 25% of our US workforce and 15% of our US people leaders will be those who identify as Black, African American, or Hispanic Latino. Now, as you just heard from Anna Marie, representation is critical, but only a first step. Lasting change is the result of a culture built to welcome and equally support individuals' talent, you. As you'll hear today, change and challenges are inevitable. While circumstances may be out of your control, it is valuable to remember to focus on what is within your control. How do we handle ourselves during challenging times often says more about who we are and how flexible and insightful we can be than it does about the specific situation. We often hear, situations can change, but people don't. I disagree. I believe people adapt and grow if they're willing and open. When you work hard and you work smart, your skills have no choice but to change, to expand, to strengthen. You don't have to become different, you become more. You level up. When you step out of your comfort zone, you can expand to places where you feel we belong. When you refuse to be afraid to ask questions, you can become seen as a source for answers in the future. When you take risks, you can flourish or fail fast and recover even faster with valuable lessons learned. The Women of Power Summit represents a unique opportunity for many to see and be seen, to witness and celebrate success across all aspects of business and industry, to realize that being the first or only in any given situation may feel lonely at times, but it's not a permanent state. It's a starting point. It is my pleasure to continue the conversation and celebration with you all today. Now, let us begin with our conversations that count, navigating challenges like a pro. How do you develop a reputation as the go-to person, corporate fixer, crisis management expert? And the real-life Olivia Pope is here to share lessons from her incredible career and show us how to handle business like a gladiator. Our featured guest, Judy Smith, is the founder and president of Smith & Company, a leading strategic advisory firm recognized for its expertise around the globe with offices in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, New York, and London. We all know her as the inspiration behind the hit show Scandal and the character Olivia Pope. She honed her skills through her experiences with some of the most historic events of our time and serves as an advisor to a host of corporations and high-profile celebrity and entertainment clients around the world. And we know she has so many valuable stories and lessons to share. And we are excited to have her with us today. I am equally pleased to welcome our moderator, the former Executive Vice President, Chief Administrative Officer for Nationwide, current Chair of the Executive Leadership Council, and 2020 Barbara Graves Legacy Award honoree, Gale V. King. Please put your hands together for these amazing powerhouse women, Judy A. Smith and Gale V. King.
All right, good morning. All right, you're not loud enough for us. Good morning. All right, I love it, I love it. Well, I'm Gale King, and I have attended Women of Power for over 10 years now. And I can tell you that every time I leave inspired to do more. And so I know that all of you are being inspired at this very moment. But I also am excited about today because I have the wonderful pleasure of interviewing the real-life Olivia Pope. You all see who's here, the real life of Olivia Pope. Not only is she beautiful, but she is an international fixer, the fixer. And in a few moments, she's going to give you advice for you to plan to navigate a successful career. But before I begin, one of the things that I think is always important is to always recognize people who have been instrumental in your life. So I do want to recognize the Nationwide family. As you all know, I retired from them after 37 years. And then, of course, I serve as a corporate director with AutoZone, and I have to recognize the AutoZone team. So AutoZone. And now, Judy and I would ask that you help us recognize the Graves family. Is this not absolutely amazing? Absolutely amazing. What their father and mother did to create this opportunity for us to see ourselves and to develop and to be our best selves. So Butch, Roberta, and Johnny, and then all of you, we thank you. But now, it's time for us to begin with the fixer. And I can't wait, so I have questions for her. But the very first question I want to ask is, Judy, last night you received and you were recognized by BE. Tell us what that experience was like for you.
Well, it's, first of all, you know, there's so many. You've got Fortune and Forbes, you know, there's so many conferences like that I'm sure we all go to. But last night for me was so special. It was like being home.
Right.
Right? It's like being home. And it's nothing better than seeing all of us together in sisterhood and spirit. And for Black enterprise to have done this for decades, I mean, there's nothing better. I was very touched. Very
Absolutely.
Touched. Yeah.
I think you all heard that I received the Barbara Graves Award, and I can tell you there's nothing better. I've received a lot of awards, but that one remains one of my very favorite ones. So I'd like to have you share with us what has been the biggest motivation throughout your life. What's been your why?
I think for me, what's been my why is I got to see everybody. It's a lot
They
of
look
people
really
out
good.
here. This looks
really
so
good.
different from the dinner last night. I got to move up. I can't see everybody. I think my why has always been trying to help and to assist and trying to make impact and making a real difference. So that's my why.
Right. And clearly she's done that. So, all right, ladies, you know we cannot interview Judy Smith without asking about scandal. As you all know, scandal...
You can.
She said in the back, she says, I'm never going to live down Olivia Pope. And we're like, absolutely not. We all know that Olivia Pope's character from the show was inspired by your remarkable career, that you are indeed the real life fixer. For those in the audience who watch the show like I did every Thursday night, how many of you watch the show every Thursday night? Absolutely.
And God bless every single one. Honest to God, yeah.
But for those of you who watch the show, you know that Olivia had many supporting characters in her life. In particular, she had Huck. How many of you remember Huck? Yeah. But I think inquiring minds would like to know. Yes, we do. Did you have a Huck in your life? And then we want to follow up after Huck. Tell us, recommend to this group, what types of characters people do they need in their lives to help them navigate successfully?
Got it. Well, you don't need Huck to help you navigate life. Let's be clear about that. Yes, I mean, we have a Huck. He doesn't, kill people or do anything like that. But we do have people that are, want maybe to check out backgrounds. Like, for example, I have 2 sons, right? They've known since they were 7, at least 7, that any girl or anybody that they bring home, there's a background check. There's a background check, right? And so they know that. So we have, a team that we work with to help us investigate if we need it and, that sort of thing. And so now, because they're older, they have developed this little signal that when they introduce me to girls, right, and they'll be like, so that means they're not really serious, you know what I mean? So there's no need to do a background check, right? And so then, like if I go in another room, I'll text them, I say, oh, so what does this mean? You're just having sex with her? This is not serious, and Anyway, so yes, in our company, we do have people that help us with investigation. Look, you have to keep these kids on track now.
So you had a Huck, and what I saw in Huck is he was a little crazy, but very loyal.
Yes.
But again, these ladies are planning brilliant careers. So what other types of people should they have in their circle, on their hotline, their board of directors?
Yeah, I've heard that phrase a lot, the board of directors. I think you want to have several people. I think the first type of person, whatever you want to call it, you want to have somebody who is straight up, I was going to say a bad word, honest and truthful. I was going to say that's no bullshit. I don't know if you can say that, but you need that person that's going to speak the truth to you, right? It shouldn't be sugar-coated. It should just be straight up. You should have someone like that. I think you also want to have someone that you can come to just for advice and counsel, right? From a career perspective. But the third person you want to have is someone who really, really knows you. Because I think sometimes when you have those board of directors, right, you want to present, some kind of image even to your board of directors. That shouldn't be. It should somebody who really knows you, who knows your strengths and weaknesses and your shortcomings. And that's important. That's important.
Yeah. Sounds great. So guys, some of the people you need in your lives in order to navigate successfully. So one last Scandal question. I read that after Scandal's success, there also came challenges. And many of these ladies will experience it if they haven't. So what's the lesson that this audience can take from that experience?
The challenges, I would say one thing is that you want to be prepared for challenges, right? They're coming. And the way that you do that is you try to analyze the situation ahead of time. So a quick one, what she's referring to is when decided to do the show, there's a lot of competition in the communications field, right? In PR and what I do. And so I had anticipated that there would be a lot of rumors floating around about things that were not accurate. Oh, she's gone Hollywood. Oh, she's going to sell her business. Oh, the business has gone down, like all of those things. And so what I did before the show is reach out to some of our key clients and said, look, this is what this is, I'm doing this, here's why, et cetera, et cetera. So one of the things that I would say is, in anything you do, in particular in work, is to really look at possible risk and plan for those. You know, possible issues that you know that are going to come up. That will help you in your personal life and will help you at work as well. Most people think that, and we do this, that we get crisis, and we do. When there's an issue, issue management and crisis, we do that. But a good part of the work that we do is helping companies navigate ahead of time and identify these particular issues that might come up so that you'll have a plan for it. You can pull it out, I'm ready, right? It may not match exactly, but at least you are ready and you're prepared for it, basically.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's the best piece of advice you have been given that you think would be beneficial to this group of leaders?
Oh, I would say a few. The things that have helped me is I am always honest, whether it's painful or not, right? I'm always honest. The other thing that has really been helpful to me is I don't deviate from who I am. I am who I say I am, right? There's no different person when I show up at work. There's no different person here, and so I have always been that. And the other thing I would say is have a clear boundary of your values and your ethics, right? People often say that, you know, you worked hard on building a brand and all of that stuff. And honestly, I have to tell you, that wasn't a strategy, that wasn't a plan. I would be lying if I said it wasn't. But the things that I have always focused on is a very basic thing, is in each thing that I do, I try to do my best and I try to do good work. And the good work should speak for itself. And that's what has helped me.
It typically does, yes. All right, so tell us, okay, we would like to hear from you. What is your process for solving problems with clients that might have application for these ladies in their professional lives?
Oh, I think in your professional life and work, here's a quick things on solving problems, right? Company or personal. What are the facts? First thing, what are the facts? But here's the big thing when you remember the facts. It's the true facts. It's not facts how we want to see them, right? Or how we wish them to be, right? It's the true facts. The other thing about facts you want to know is you're not going to have them on the table all at once, right? Usually they evolve as an issue, starts to unfold. So you want to do that. And if you're in a situation and any sort of, issue in your company, you want to give good, sound advice and counsel. And I always start out with not what I think, right? Oftentimes people say, oh, well, what do you think we should do? My whole thing is, this is what needs to be done, and here are the reasons why, basically.
All right.
So I always give backup and not just opinions. I try to give backup about why I know that I'm right.
So remove the emotions.
Right.
Oh, did you hear how she said that? I try to give backup on why I know that I'm right.
I am right, yes.
That's how you do it. I got it.
But
now.
the facts help, right? It's not just, the facts help. So you can point to it. It gives, somebody a hook to hang it.
I got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense to
Yeah.
me. Hey, you have many superpowers. I mean, you guys saw her story last night. Wasn't it amazing? I mean, simply amazing. Okay, you can do better than that. Wasn't it amazing?
No.
All right, thank you. But
It's early in the morning.
But you know, the thing that I love is, you know, she not only was she was the inspiration for Scandal, but she was the executive producer of Scandal. She owns her own company. She's a corporate director. She's advisor to celebrities, and I'm like, girl, I want to be you. I just want to be you. But
you're gonna have circles under your eyes.
you have many supervisors. But like all of us, I'm sure there have been some fears and disappointments and setbacks along the way. And again, can you tell this group of ladies, how have you managed?
Well, I mean, on the disappointments and setbacks, you're right. You're always going to get them. What I try to do is analyze what lessons I can take from that, right? Is there something that I can take from that that's going to make me better, that's going to make me smarter, that's going to move me ahead? And I really look at that. I try not to wallow in the setback, right? But really focus on why was that put in front of me and what can I take away from it?
Okay. Yeah. So the lesson is to learn from it and move on. I agree. So tell me, what has been the hardest thing, though? I mean, you know, I can imagine in this job that you've had lots of highs, but some lows and some difficult decisions. But what has been the hardest thing? Can you share with us?
I think we were talking about it somewhere at dinner last night. I think one of the hardest things is, at least for me, it took a moment for me to get that, and I won't say balance, but to manage doing so many things in our lives, right? We all have busy lives. We're working, you know, we have friends, we have kids. And so really, for me, figuring out that how to work doing what I do at a moment's notice, right? And then also showing up and being a good mom. Yeah.
Well, I fully understand the moment's notice. We had scheduled a call last week.
This is so bad. I'm so sorry.
And she was totally on brand because she couldn't make it, because she was handling a client. But she was kind enough to get on the phone and say, "I can't be there with you, but you know, work with my team and we'll be okay." So again, that's what we expect from you. But let's follow up with that. Tell us something that you're not good at. And, you know, I have a view of that from this morning. But you want to share with the group?
I am so not good at several things, right? So first of all, let me see. So I don't know if you guys can see me. Like I look all good and stuff right up here. Oh my God, makeup, can't do it. Cannot do it, cannot do it. I don't know how to put it on. It doesn't look good on me.
And she doesn't want it put on.
No, the thing on the under eye thing. No, and then the real thing was like, oh, do you want false eyelashes? What? And then she said, well, let's just try, because see, then everybody's in the makeup room, right? So no, I don't have them on today. But you had to put the little glue on. And then there's this other thing. I know, I'm getting into this makeup thing. I don't know what you call it. I call it a weapon of mass destruction. It's like this silver thing. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It's like some eyelash thing, right? And you got to do some little clip in. I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it.
All right, guys. So bottom line, you know, if you ever see Judy trying to put your makeup on, run.
No.
Run,
no.
run.
It's bad, but I know that I'm not good at it, so I don't even try. I got one little thing that I think that I have that someone gave me. It's like a little sheen or something. I do that. And my big thing that I was so proud of in the makeup room is, I don't know what you call it. My niece had to give it to me. It's like a stick or something, you know, when you want to smash something down, it's sticking up. Whatever, it looks like glue or something. My niece, before I left, gave me that. And she said, and she was so sweet. She said, Aunt Judy, you know, I saw one picture of you. Nee, she's critiquing me, 17. And she said, you know, sometimes your edges, you know, they should, what did she say? Slay, lay, something. So I tried to put the, you know, the green thing on the side.
All right.
But yes.
All right, so Judy, keep your job, okay?
I got to keep it that job.
Hey, I do have a question here, though. Again, guys, I was in the makeup room with her and watched her sitting in that seat, and it was painful because
It was very painful.
clearly she did not want to be there. You know, and the poor little girl was trying to get the makeup. She doesn't need any makeup. She's absolutely beautiful, right?
thanks.
Absolutely beautiful. Hey, a question, and we're going to, in just a moment, we're going to take questions from the audience because, again, I know you all have questions for the real Olivia Pope who doesn't like makeup. But since 2020, you know, we have dealt with the isolation of COVID, the tragic murder of George Floyd, and now the threat to DE&I and our very democracy. What advice do you have for these ladies in managing multiple challenges and navigating this pivotal moment in our history and history for blacks, as well as the United States?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, we cannot give up. We can't. There's no other option. We can't. And the thing that I would say is that you know the environment and situation that we're in, and so you have to make sure that you are navigating that to the best of your advantage and to the best of our advantage. But we cannot give up. We've been against tougher things than this.
Yeah, I agree with you. What one thing they can do back in their respective spaces to be a voice for change?
I think you've got to be, committed to it, but also you want to think about what kind of change do you want to make, right? What kind of change do you want to make, and what kind of change do you think that is actually doable and that you can be successful at, right? And so you want to map that out before you sort of charge into it. You want to know, it's like with anything, it's how I look at problems. You want to look at the pros and cons, the risk. You want to look at all of those things and get a plan, get a strategy.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So one of the things, as I said, we want to hear from you. And so what I'm going to ask you to do, we're going to take a few questions and ask you to come up to the very front. And again, guys, we want to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions, so please be brief, but come on and get started. You have Olivia Pope
I'm going
here.
to go down there. I'm going to
Okay, come on.
Hi.
I'm coming down. I need to see y'all. I feel like I'm too far away from you.
All right, is that the move there? Go on.
Yes.
I'm listening.
My name is Kanae Quarter. Similarly to you, I have a unique set of skills, but these skills are not always neatly fit. Like you have your fixer title.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find that title for me. I was Series 7 and 66 licensed. I went back to school, got my master's in clinical mental health counseling. I blended two together. I called myself a financial therapist, but people think that means financial literacy and you work with poor people. And so it's not that at all. Money is the #1 cause of stress, whether you have a little of it or a lot of it. But I particularly like to work with those with a lot of it.
Got it, yeah. Understood. All right, okay, all right. So you need to figure out how to position yourself better in the high-end financial marketplace. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. I am going to contact you.
Okay.
And then I'm going to introduce you some people that can help you.
All right.
So let me do that. Sit right here, and
All
then
right.
I'll help you. I'll help you do that. Yes, okay.
Hello.
See, it's good. I got steps in.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Makani Tungara. I work for Dell Technologies. Thank you. My question is about building the team around you.
Yeah.
So it's a two-part question. First, what kind of questions do you ask people in order to make sure you're hiring the right person for the roles? How do you really get to the essence of that individual so that you know that you're hiring correctly? And what kind of team do you build around you in terms of your extended personal life so that you can do what you do? Who are the people, the types of roles around you that are helping you to be successful? Thank
Okay,
you.
so work and personal team. On the work side, you honestly can interview somebody 3, 4, 5 times, and that person still might not turn out to be a good fit. That's just the honest to God truth, right? And so you can ask all the traditional questions that one asks, but until you get that person in there, you just don't know. So for us, we give a longer extended period of time. You know, when you say, oh, let's check you out for 2 months or something. No, we got to check you out for 4 months, 6 months, right, to give us that flexibility. So you sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. I think on the personal team, I keep my personal team very small, basically, and I think the skill sets that they have, that they're diverse, meaning that they're all not going to give me the same opinion, right? They're going to give me a different point of view on advice. The second thing they do is they know that I have a non-bullshit rule. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Oh, and this is being televised, because I X that part out, but do you know what I mean? You have to have people that tell you the truth about things. And you want to have someone, I think, on your personal team that can look at things from all sides of it, right? Not just like a client asked me this. I was coming into their house, and it was a situation involving a politician who wasn't faithful, and a whole host of things happened. Anyway, and so the woman, when I came in, asked the wife and said, do you think my husband cheated on me? So if you're asking me, you probably know the answer to it already. So at that moment, this being, advice and counsel, I could have said, no, I don't really think so. Do you know what I mean? I said, yes, I do. Right? And the reason why I said, yes, I do, and I said, but I know that you know that too.
All right.
Right? And I said, so you two will just have to figure out, do you know what I mean, if and how you want to move forward. Right? And so, because if I would have come in and said, no, I don't think so, she's not going to trust me because she knows I'm telling a lie. So why am I going to do that? Right? Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay, you're welcome. Oh, I'm back over here?
Be mindful of the camera. Be mindful of this.
Judy.
Oh, yes, got it.
Hi, Ms. Smith. My name is LaRon Anderson Bell, and largely due
Look
to
into the camera.
your example and the example of Terry Williams, I pursued a very similar career path.
Oh, that's great. Yes.
So there are so few black women in this field, but it's exhilarating and thrilling. Could you offer a word to the communications professionals in the room to encourage them to go this way?
Oh, look, I love communications. I love what I do. It's the ability to make change and impact. And a lot of you don't see it. I'll give you a quick example. So if I'm just a random company, TIA, all right, random company. So if I'm called in and say they have an issue with, there's a group of women that are upset because they don't think they're getting enough promotions or something like that, right? And so what I'm able to do is to come in and do an assessment of that and then say, hey, big company, Fortune 500 company, these are the 10 things you need to do. Number one, you need to put a program in for women that will help them move up at an equal level, do you know, as men. Number two, they need more training. Number three, so that's why I love when people call, they need help, because you can make change. Now, I can't go out and brag and say, ooh, hey, I made it, because then people won't hire me anymore. But it gives you an opportunity to make impact, kind of where we started, for all of you. Even though nobody knows it, I'm okay with that, right? Because it's important. Yeah.
Thank you so
You're welcome.
We're giving Judy her exercise
I love it.
today.
I'm getting steps. I got my little thing going.
Good to see you again. I'm Helen Newsom, a
Hi,
financial
Helen.
advisor with Morgan Stanley.
Yeah.
And earlier you were talking about taking on risk.
Yeah.
So how do you take on risk when you're looking at a new client? So for instance, if how would you evaluate the risk if you were considering Sean P. Diddy Combs as a client?
That's a big one.
Yes. Because as a financial
That's a
advisor,
big
I
one.
take on risk all the time.
And from
Really
a financial advisor point of view,
No, from your perspective
Look,
of being the client.
here's the thing. When we decide to take on clients, right, it's really if we can make an impact, if we can help, if we can change the dynamic. Do you know what I mean? Some things are just what they are, right? There's some things that you can change, and there's some things that you can make better. I'm smart enough to know the difference.
I like that. Thank you.
I want to give you a high five for that one. So I met you last night, but
Yes.
my name's London, and I just had a question about managing up. So when you have a boss, sadly I'm on a team of all white men only. I'm only
Yeah.
female, only person of color, and so I want to know, how do I make it known that I feel like, you know, I'm not getting the same access to training because they're going to football games in Lake Tahoe and other things together because they're men, and I'm kind of, you know, on the outside.
Yeah, I would say, first of all, when you're in that situation, when you are dealing with sort of the higher up,
Yeah.
one of the things that when you do give, you tell people how you feel about issues and stuff. So this is one of the things that we do that we don't catch ourselves on. When you give advice, right, you come and you say, well, I feel like this is the best thing to do. Get feel out of your language. Take it out.
Okay.
Take it out. It's not how you feel about it. You know, like, this is a situation. This is what I think you should do, and here's why.
Okay.
Right? It's not like you feel about it,
Right, just the
basically.
facts.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
facts and why you're giving that good advice and counsel.
Right.
And then the other thing is, in terms of sort of, you know, trying to be part of that leadership team, I think you want to do what you feel comfortable in,
Okay.
and then suggest things and say, hey, why don't we do X?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
And then sometimes have an honest conversation about it. I'll tell you a story real quick. I remember when I was working in the White House, and I was with somebody in my office, right, white male. And we had two events to go to. One was, I think, a Black Caucus event, and then another one was another event, right? So it was good conversation because I'm comfortable in both events, right? It's right. We live that way, right? I'm comfortable. But really, what was good was on the way home, the white male he said, I must say, he said, you know, I know you. He said, but there was something in me. I was uneasy. I didn't feel comfortable. I said, I'm glad you're talking about it. Let's talk about it.
Right.
And so we talked about that. And so it was good.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
so
You're
much.
welcome.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Jones, and
Hi,
I'm the new
Kimberly.
president of the Council for Opportunity and Education.
Awesome.
Thank you. And in the 6 months since I've been president, I've had many people, mostly other black people, say to me, well, you have to be careful because you know black women are judged differently. And I am the first black woman to have this role. And so I guess my question is, what's your opinion of that advice, and how do I operate? Because it definitely gives me pause.
You know, I might have a minority point of view on this. I don't know. But when they're saying you have to be careful of what? Of how you show up, of how you run the organization. Do you know what I mean?
Basically, they're saying,
Yeah.
I'm going to be judged harshly no matter what I do. So what the content I put into our programming, the type of people I
Oh,
invite-
but you know that when you took the job. Right? I mean, you know that. Well, that's not a new thing. You know that. So, but I don't think that that should prevent you from doing what you think is good for the organization, right? What's the best path? You have to be smart, which I know that you are because you wouldn't have got the gig, but being smart enough to understand that if I'm suggesting this program, how is that going to land, right? Is my board for it, right? Does it make sense in, you know, my constituency group that I'm working with? All of those things you just have to think through. But you can't lead in fear. Do you know what I mean? You just can't. You just
Awesome.
you go do what you need to do.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, Judy, we're going to
Yes.
have you take 2 more questions and
Okay.
come back up.
Oh,
And
all
then
right.
what we're going to ask you all to do, those of you who are in line, we're going to ask you to
I'll come down.
connect with her.
I'll come down and talk to her.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Danette Wilder, and I'm President and CEO of Sealing Life Technology. We are a high-performance material manufacturer, and we're AS 9100 certified, one of few women, minorities.
Minority?
Yeah, in this business. So one of the questions, because why I'm here,
Yeah.
is the whole diversity and inclusion and looking for partnerships, investors, and things like that. I'm curious to know what advice you would give for accelerating building trust amongst people of color and moving us to be able to partner quicker. So what could I do to build trust quicker with our people so that we can get to doing business faster?
I would say a few things. Trust a lot of times is built on relationships, right? So I think the more people that you can, coming here is good, the more people that you can connect with about your business, but also the more, I would say, case studies that you have will be helpful to you. Like, hey, we did X for this client. Do you know what I mean? Let me tell you about that. And it can't be 1 or 2. You want to really try to build it up. But it's more that you're not just talking to them. You actually have concrete things that you can show to see the why that you are successful and why they should partner with you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, Judy.
All right.
Come on, let's start. Give her a big round of applause. Come on up. All right. So would you do this as we prepare to close out? Would you give them what's the one last thing you'd like to share with the entire Women of Power group today?
Oh, God, that's a big one.
I know, but you are the fixer.
One last thing.
What last piece of advice that you'd like to leave them with?
One of my favorite songs that I listen to every morning is Rise Up. And I listen to it every morning because it gives me strength. It just puts me in a good place, and it knows what it lets me know what I have to do every single day. So I would encourage you that as you rise up, understand that you have to help to lift up, right? Everybody in this room, we should be doing that for each other. And that's how we make real impact.
Wonderful. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you would do me a favor, and Judy, if you would, rise up. And would you rise up and give her a big round of applause?
Oh, no.
You were awesome. Wasn't she awesome?
Oh, no, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you.
Hi, ladies. Thank you, Judy and Gale, for that incredible conversation. Please, let's give them one more round of applause. Also, a special thanks to Dell for hosting. Let's give them a round of applause also. Please stay seated for just another moment. I have a few housekeeping items to share. Don't forget to use the hashtag BEWPS as you share your Women of Power experience and sign up for the Slack app to automatically be entered into the MJM Getaway. The prizes, they include a 2-night stay in the Bellagio Resort Room, dinner for 2 at any Bellagio restaurant up to $400 excluding alcohol and gratuity, 2 tickets to O by Cirque du Soleil, and the drawing takes place tomorrow during the Luminary Awards luncheon. If you need a place to take a moment to recharge, find your way to the perfect spot, the Power Up Lounge, hosted by Fidelity in Grand Ballroom 9. Don't forget, visit the sponsor showcase in Grand Ballroom 7 and enjoy all of the amazing experiences that have been designed just for you. Thank you and enjoy the sessions. We'll see you back here in the Tower Ballroom for Power Lunch this afternoon. Enjoy.
It's been a minute since I've been in it, swimming in it.
That's just how we roll. That's just how we roll. How we roll. Yeah. Top off summer in the wind. You look at me like that, it can we make another kid? You're my heart, I'm your rib. If I ever had to for you, I would do a bid. And I can tell that you're ready. 3, 2, 1, it's going down like confetti. Water 10 to 1 shots again. If we feel it on our phone,